All right, let's talk about Ikoria as I continue my discussion of Shards and Wedges. So yesterday I talked about Alara, the day before that I talked about the difference between like Esper and the Obscura, and there's sort of a parallel here with Ikoria and Tarkir. Namely that Ikoria is like a wedge location, it is not a wedge faction set. And actually doesn't have a wedge faction at all. What Ikoria does have are monsters, and the monsters keep mutating through the power of these crystals you see all over the plane. So there are three main like biomes, jokingly called triomes here, sort of. Each one is home to a specific kind of monster, and these monsters can like co-mutate. They can become one another. So let's start first with Indatha. Indatha is like the swamplands. It's home to nightmares. Ketria is sort of the lush woodland valley with a lot of water. It is home to elementals. Raugrin is like the mountainous, rocky coastline of the plane. And I should note that what we've seen of the plane is actually like a giant island, basically. It's like Australia. We don't know if there's more to the plane. This one's home to dinosaurs. Savai is a vast plains crisscrossed with like a lot of chasms. It's home to our cats. And then finally, Zagoth is like a lush wetland. It is home to our beasts. Now, while we do have some wedge-aligned stuff, it isn't everything in the set. There's only like 3 wedge cards in the set for each color. Each of these apexes represent a central creature with the central color is beast. The colors track left to right with their creature type left to right. But it is a beast that is like also mutated into a nightmare and elemental. Iluna, our bargain bin Ugin, is a beast elemental dinosaur. Nethroi is our nightmare, who is also a cat beast. Snapdax is our cat, that is also a dinosaur nightmare. And Vadrock is our Rodan analog. It is a dinosaur that is also an elemental cat. Each of these apexes are like, they're the apex creature of each of those triomes I just mentioned. But most creatures are just 1 or 2 colors and generally are one of the 5 monster clades we just talked about. And most of the time, unlike Khans of Tarkir, you're not aiming to build a wedge deck. A lot of the times, the mutate cost specifically had like hybrids that you could use it in a 2-color deck. There's a lot of color fixing in this set to make it work. That's why there's so many like wedge color producing like mana artifacts and lands. So yeah, Ikoria is more like Alara in that it is 3-color locations. It is not 3-color factions or a wedge set at all, really. However, this is where we saw the current timeline's Narset first push into red. And it makes sense, there was color support for it. This isn't a full world building set, so I'm not going to talk about it directly, but there are like 3 human cities that are sort of holdouts. There's, I think it's Skysail, which is a floating city. There's Draneth, which is this big walled, like Attack on Titan-esque city. And then there's Lavabrink, which is protected by a big lava veil. And that's Ikoria in a nutshell.